Hello everybody, welcome back. We're playing LA Man. It is round 1 of the tournament. I just finished recording the episode and I said I'd talk about the diplomacy with Kenchi, so let's do that. I left off communicating with Kenchi until just now, until this turn, or I guess it was this turn. I wanted the bump to happen first, and Kenchi agreed to have I proposed a nap. I kind of put it in the following. I said it looks like you had, but what basically I said is now that we have bumped, and now that our northern border is like it is and our southern border is like it is, we've actually had fairly even expansion with respect to our mutual borders. So I got the 2 border provinces here, but he has the 2 border provinces there. And so both of us can kind of feel okay about these borders towards each other. Now, he seems to have a slightly better piece of land overall, especially if he can get this from Ulm. So in other words, I think his neighbors seem to have done a weaker job expanding towards him than mine have. Then again, I think I have a weaker neighbor in Satis here, just in the way the game has unfolded, whereas he's dealing with late-age Ulm, which is a notoriously powerful nation, although perhaps not in the super early game, and elves. Everybody hates elves, so but anyways, with respect to each other, there isn't much more room to jockey for position in terms of provinces. And then I suggested to him, hey, why don't we just sign a NAP so that we can kind of build up our infrastructure in peace, not have to worry about losing our building forts to others. Now, partly that could be seen by him as a tell that I am actually building a fort here in this province. And it did partially scare me because he's been recruiting a lot of cavalry in this province, and that 30 heavy cav is probably going to be enough to take over my PD here. Because this PD, although it has a lot of crossbows, is pretty shit infantry in front. So that is a risk, but it is a compelling argument, and I think he has, and I told him, and I know that you have other things to do, including taking these provinces, and so he, for whatever reason, he agreed. And I'm happy because I didn't intend to raid his castle construction, and I really want to get my forts up. So we have an app 3, which is basically all I need. If he wants to attack me, if he wants to rush me in 4 turns, then we'll deal with that. So that's good. He also said, by the way, I'm going to move into 44 next turn and then 48. So he's kind of signaling that he wanted these 2 provinces, which is totally understandable. Although when you actually look at it, this province is actually pretty far from his cap because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this is heat. I mean, whatever temperature scale, I guess it's 3 away from his cap because one of these temperature scales is going to be whatever he took in his dominion. Actually, what did he take? Well, it's winter. It's hard to tell. Maybe he took something neutral. He's either got cold or heat, and depending on the one, it's going to be 3 to his cap. But it's 3 to his cap. It's also 3 to my cap. This province is actually pretty close to me. 1, 2, 3. So I could have contested this, but I've decided not to. And this, by the way, is still the same turn as last time. I've decided not to because I actually think this is a bigger prize. This is a wealthier province, and I don't mind. And I'd rather have less exposure to Tianqi in the south. So we're going to try to go grab this province. And let's go ahead and load up the next turn now. So that was turn 10. Let's load turn 11. Okay, we've got Thaumaturgy 1. Oh, we'll talk about research here in just a minute. So battle in Ghent. What battle was this? Oh, I think we're pinging the throne here. Yeah. Okay, so that's this throne. As you can see, a ton of fire snakes. These guys have just a lot of fire damage. And they also have, firepower and heat. And then a lot of poison. And then more poison. And guy who's going to make fire elementals, and then just for good measure, another guy who's going to do terrible fire spells. So we don't want to touch this until we could put fire resist on our army. Or I guess we had some kind of special thug, but we're LA man. We're not going to be doing a lot of thugs for quite a while. So this is a pretty nasty throne, and we're not going to be touching this for quite a while. Next, we see that Tianchi has taken this province. Nothing to see there. And actually, let's take a quick look, because any battle we see from now on might reveal... I don't know if it's turn 12. Oh, no, it's only 11. Yeah, but the next few turns, if he had a dormant pretender, it might be awake, and we might see if he took an actual bless. And we're pinging another throne here. This throne isn't so bad. The only nasty thing is it's a bunch of ethereal phantasmal warriors. However, they only have 1 hit point. And although their graphic looks like they have a shield, they actually have no shield. And our sacreds actually have magic weapons, so we can actually magic crossbow these guys quite easily. Now, in terms of mages, we got Astral. That's great, because Astral mages for indies suck. And we have a pile of Skelespam, and he's going to prioritize Skelespam, I think, over air elementals. I'm not sure, though. Anyways, a bunch of sacreds in the south here. I think we can make quick work of this throne. So this is the throne that is here. So that's also excellent news. Means both these 2 thrones are definitely possible grabs for us. We have a new hero. This guy's just been, I guess, training in his spare time. He has extraordinary agility. So he's increased attack and defense skills of +1. Good for you, buddy. Okay, unexpected events, misfortune 3. We patrolled a bit somewhere. Okay, so let's talk about, I guess, troop movements and orders first. I think I'm moving this mage back to build a lab here at some point. I kind of scrounged up money to start my palisades in this province. This is a large province, so even though it's got a forest and mountains, it's still got like 12,000 population in it. And also I'll be able to recruit, even though these are terrible mages, I'll recruit 1 or 2 to at least get some N1 nature site searching going. And here we are going to move into... here we're going to attack here to take this province because Midgard has nothing here, so I don't expect him to come up this way. I'm surprised that Midgard hasn't, now that my scouts are in this position here, I'm surprised that this isn't controlled by him yet. Yeah, that seems a little confusing. It seems like people are struggling to expand a little bit. So we're going to take this province, then this army is going to be here next turn, and so both of them together are going to be able to take this province, assuming Satis doesn't take it this turn. But Satis just lost this to Indies, it appears. So if he had something in his cap, he's probably going to go here first and then here second. And if he does that, that's fine with me because we'll bump, and I think I can win the bump. And that, I think, is that for that turn. Now, I'm currently on turn 12, so let's load up turn 12. Yeah, let's load up turn 12 and see if we need to modify anything. So I guess I'll show you the turn itself. Okay, we found a magic site, which is an Earth 2 magic site. So we're actually doing pretty well on Earth income. We got a random event and we got +2 Earth. Let's look at the rest. Proclamation from Agartha. Alaric. Oh, he didn't rename his dude. That's too bad. Okay, we finally see a peep from Patala. Unfortunately, it's just a scout pinging a throne. This throne is actually pretty easy to take. This is all astral dudes. I guess a fire guy. and a whole bunch of really bad infantry. So that should be easy to take for him. Then we have a battle here. We did not get glamored by elves, so that is great. Yeah, it's just archers shooting at archers. By the way, so I haven't killed, at this point, the only deer tribe who died is a guy who just got smashed by, well, let's see. Oh, so 3, okay, we killed 3 deer tribe archers with our crossbows, and we have lost 4 crossbowmen to their archers. So these are like the shittiest bows in the game. Still better than crossbows in archery duels. Just because you're firing twice as much. But obviously we're going to win the battle, but it does mean that we lose a couple of indie crossbows. Just saying. All right, and here we had a few light cavalry in the mountains. For some reason... Oh, these are like super light cavalry, not the archer kind, the ones with javelins. Okay, whatever. This is kind of what we expected. No casualties. Good. Unexpected event, unrest, and province income. And we finished our palisades. Great. So let's do troop movement first. So as promised, we are going to combine our forces over here. I've split our forces to kind of give a pretty big wall. I don't know what he's going to bring at me, but whatever. It'll be like Sitis with some infantry. I got fire archers. I don't know why. I don't think he has archers, but whatever. Yeah, it'll fight the Indies well, and I think it'll fight what Sitis has very well too. So yeah, shouldn't be any problems here. And I've stopped recruiting indie crossbowmen here because we're going to need a lot of gold in the next few turns to build all the castles that we want to build. I'm reinforcing my armies into position over here. Because in terms of research, well, my first target is enchantment 4, and I chose that for flaming arrows, obviously, and I chose it before Wind Guide because it is more. My guys already have very high precision, so yes, Wind Guide is good. It's a buff, but flaming arrows is a bigger buff, especially in the early game. And honestly, I'm gonna get both of them in not too far apart. By the time you have a level 4... Oop, I hit the wrong key. That's okay. By the time you have a level 4 in one tech, the next level 4 isn't going to take much longer. Yeah, we're going to get enchantment 4, and I did that also because I did get my fire random a couple turns ago. So he's site searching. He's going to site search for a little bit until we need him. But we're going to start accumulating troops here because we do plan to move. I do think I'm going to move against the Tis. Maybe in like 10 turns. I don't know. So if I were Midgard, I would also be thinking about moving towards Sitis. Now, I've cut him off on this side, but he already has a board over here. He doesn't over here. We'll have to see how he feels about things. If I attack Sitis, would Sitis ask Midgard for help? That feels awkward, right? Because Midgard's he has a border with me here. He's not too big. Tianqi's probably a bigger threat for him, right? Midgard isn't doing so hot himself. Now he has cold scales. He can go across here, but here he's blocked by the throne. Here he's got a Gartha. It'll be interesting to see what Midgard chooses to do. Sitis here is also bordering Patala to the east. So there are players who might see his limited size and be tempted to jump on him. So I definitely need to get in on that action first. So really the question for me is going to be, do I go for the throne first or do I go for Sitis first? And that will be, I think we'll have to keep an eye on with scouts, keep an eye on Sitis' neighbors to make sure that nobody's getting the jump on him first. Okay, that's what's happening here. We're reinforcing here. Infrastructure-wise, I'm canceling... let's talk about recruitment in a second. I canceled scout recruitment this turn just to have enough to get a palisades built here, as well as a lab built here. I'm recruiting a single judge, but I do want to get started on Magister arcanes soon enough. So there's going to be a lot of infrastructure spending in the next few turns. I switched to get a clump of knights here because eventually I do want, because it's useful to have a 20 heavy cav that you can send on attack rear in this throne fight, but it'll be useful also again. It'll be useful against Citis, and it's useful really against pretty much everybody. So I think that is it for this episode. Oh, we were going to talk to Alm, so let's send a message to Alm. Well met from the northwest. So he had mentioned, this was a couple of turns ago, he had mentioned how we weren't elected to meet, but we could do commerce, so I'll actually let him know we are certainly interested. If so the reason I'm asking about hammers is because I can make my own hammers, but I've got to go to construction 4 first, and I've got to forge boots, and then I've got to forge hammers afterwards. And honestly, that's fine, because I'm going to want earth boots at some point anyways. If he's willing to make a hammer for me at cost, or for 15 earth gems, and he takes the rest in profit, then I save earth gems. However, if he asks more, if he asks like 20 earth gems, then it's kind of cheaper for me to... Even though I'm going to pay full price on boots and the first hammer, that's only 4 extra gems. So I'll actually save that way. So that's why I'm opening up that possibility. And then I'll start do a bit of fear-mongering for Tianchi. There. No lies. Just kind of hinting at your neighbor might be scary. All the best. Man. Okay. Done. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I need to get a lot more scouts in this area to see what's going on. I don't know who is going to feel like he wants to go after first. I think nowadays, I haven't played Late Age really, although I know how the nation works. I feel like it is more of a late game superpower rather than being really strong in the early game. So I'm not sure that he actively wants to start an early war. But we'll see. I mean, it would be geographically, he's the perfect ally, right? My allies are my neighbors whom I don't border. So this is a perfect candidate. You would think that Midgard would be the same, except I actually do border Midgard here, especially if I take this throne, and then here on a wealthy province. So that relationship seems less clear. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Diplo works out in this game. Anyways, we've got peace, we've got naps with all of our neighbors, and but I am sort of looking forward to some early war to take advantage of nations that don't have air access. especially don't have air access early on. So I'm hoping to get 1 or 2 wars under my belt before arrows are kind of less relevant. And I think the first one is going to be Satis. Anyways, we'll see how that turns out. I'll see you guys next turn. I'm curious to see how this bump is going to be, because I'm sure Satis has an army here, and he seems to have recruited some guys here, so we're almost certainly going to bump here. And we'll see how that works out. See you guys next time. Take care.